This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Jeremiah Milton out here in Saudi Arabia. Jeremiah, firstly, it's been a while since I saw you. How's life been treating you since?
Yeah, no, from Vegas to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, alhamdulillah, we here. So life has been good. Um, just getting myself sharp, taking the most opportunities that come my way, and yeah, man, it's blessed.
Taking the most of the opportunities that come your way. The one which has come your way for the last 6 weeks, you've just told me, is that of sparring with Francis Ngannou. Talk to me about how that all came about and what the experience has been like.
Yeah, so I'm sitting at the crib, I'm watching, their reckoning and everything's happening, and of course Wilder didn't do his part, but I'm looking at Anthony Joshua's watching my stories, and I'm knowing if AJ is looking at my stories, they must want something, bro. So I'm like, okay, it's like any minute now, something's gonna happen, something's gonna shake. Um, the fight got announced, Francis Ngannou, boom, it's happening. I'm like, wow, this is a major event for sure. So I'm like, well, any minute now, and I'm waiting. Crickets, no call. So Dewey hits me up, and I spent some time sparring with Carlos Takam. He lives in Vegas. We're good friends as well. And he's like, man, we really need you. You know what I'm saying? We would really love to have you. So I sat on it for 2 days. I said, man, it's a no-brainer. Let's go. And so as I'm sitting on the plane to get ready to come out here, the whole process took about 2 weeks. And I'm literally on the flight, and I get a little DM talking about, hey, yo, I think they want you in the AJ camp. I'm like, yo, why didn't y'all say something earlier, bro? But it's all love, man. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't come out here to spar, somebody else would. I've been on an end like this before of sparring two people that were preparing for a fight, Joe Joyce and Danny Dubois. I actually sparred with both of them leading up to their fights. So this is kind of surreal again, being in that moment. But it's been love.
Obviously very different fighters. Francis more that MMA background, as we know, but from your time in the ring with him, what can you tell us about that sparring experience?
Yeah, I just would say, man, don't lean too much into the narrative of just MMA guy, because this is heavyweight boxing. It's not the same as little weight boxing, you know what I'm saying? No offense to anybody that's smaller, but like, these punches are real. They're big shots. Both guys have great power, and that is a factor at all times in the heavyweight division. So, he's been on world level before himself. Not only has he fought out here, and gave a good count for himself with Francis, but at the same notion, it's like the hardest part is always preparing for the lights. You know what I'm saying? If I'm ever fighting a guy I know he's not been on ESPN, like, you haven't been here. You haven't had this camera shoved in your face and people wanting to know this and know that. So once you become comfortable with that, a ring is a ring, and both guys are going to have that going.
One thing that surprised a lot of people from the Tyson Fury fight that Francis had was kind of how good his fundamentals seemed to be. Nobody really knew how well he transitioned into just focusing on boxing and not having to deal with all of the elements MMA brings with it. When you were sparring him, was anything that surprised you by just how good maybe his fundamentals were?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, you take a guy, let's say, like, you guys don't have guns over there, but we got guns. And, first time I was learning to shoot from a proper instructor, there was guys that shot guns their entire lives. They bragging, oh, man, I'm so good on the range. I'm going to hit everything. I had never really formally shot a gun, and this is a topic. But because I had no previous experience, everything that I was shown allowed me to score and be higher than the other people, yeah? So, again, that's my analogy on it. A guy walks in with no necessarily like formal background in it, he can make huge strides quickly with the right people around him. And I think, Coach Dewey, Black Cobra, he's former boxer, southpaw, all these different things. Coach Eric, these guys have had that world level, and they can then establish into him the right techniques that he needs to do, and having Mike Tyson there to show, come on, it's Mike Tyson showing you how to set into that punch. As long as you got the IQ to pick it up, you could be a sponge.
Obviously, as we mentioned earlier, you spent some time sparring with Anthony Joshua as well. It was a while ago. It was pre-Franklin and then what ended up being pre-Robert Helenius. But what can you reflect from those sparring experiences? What can you tell me about sharing a ring with him and comparing it to Ngannou?
Just both of them are athletes, you know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, they're like two action figures, man. Look at these guys. You know, they have the craziest aesthetics going on. And, you know, they're both heavy-handed people. So I wouldn't say a fight like this goes to the scorecards, yeah? And that's just my experience.
When you had sparred AJ, at the time he was working with Derek James, now he's working with Ben Davison. What have you made of, they've only had one fight together, but his performance against Otto Wallin, did you see any differences? Did you see a change in AJ's performance there from what you had experienced in the ring with him?
Well, I mean, you know, we don't, all things aside, his last performance has been one of his top performances. You know, he stays on that trajectory. You know, there's not much he can't accomplish in the heavyweight division because he looked like an absolute unit, absolute beast. And I think, you know, what he said, he was on the search for greatness. This sport, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people want to say this and that, if you change trainers here and that. Look, you got to be loyal to yourself first. You know, you put yourself before anybody's opinion. And so whatever he felt he needed, he got it out of Ben. And he's continued to get it from Ben at the moment. So that's been an excellent pairing, in my opinion.
As a man who spent time in both camps, have you had either camp start to kind of probe a little bit into what the other's like?
Yo, I was worried about that, man. I was thinking like, oh, man, like, what are they going to say? Or, you know, or will I look like this type of mole or any type of thing? Nah, man. You know, these guys are both top caliber people. They know that a fight is going to be a fight. You know, everybody has 2 hands, 2 feet, you feel me? So they brought me in. They thought I would give a good account for myself, which I have. But at the end of the day, I'm not Joshua. I'm not Francis. You know, I can only give them the best work that they can get. And what they're going to see on the night is what they're going to see. So I was actually surprised. You know, I thought it'd be a little bit of that, but no, I can honestly say not too much.
Jeremiah, you're a young, hungry fighter yourself, gaining all of these amazing experiences with those top guys in sparring. Do you ever kind of look at it and think you have your own concerns that maybe people start to look at you more of a sparring partner and those opportunities don't present themselves down the line?
Man, you could think whatever you want to think, but I mean, I got to make sure I pay my bills. So I take this opportunity to come make my little bread. I go home, I do right with my money. But at the same time, like, yeah, you know, hopefully, inshallah, I'm not playing the background to a lot of this stuff. And, you know, you'll see me out here or you'll see me in the ring with, you know, these guys or whatever. My thing is, like, you know, it's always business. You know, people know about me. They know what I bring to the table. I know what I bring to the table. You know, I won't develop a sparring partner's mentality. I don't think I would be called back if I was just like a sparring partner. You know what I'm saying? I give people, I played the background to some major fights. You know what I'm saying? And that is what it is. But you know, for the time being, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna run my marathon. I'm gonna stay on my course.
One thing you do have going for you is being a heavyweight. We've seen Saudi Arabia obviously loving the heavyweights at this moment in time. Just looking at yourself, bring yourself into the equation, where do things currently sit with your career?
You know, 11-0, American heavyweight. You know, I'm knocking on the door. You know, they have a lot of guys that they want to say is the best in America, Jared Anderson, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe none of these things. I'm competing with myself. I'm never comparing myself to what's out there in the sense that, like, you know, I don't feel like I can be that, or I feel like, you know, it's got to affect me mentally. No, I just want to keep getting better. I want to settle in to whatever I need to settle into. And, you know, when I get my opportunity, I'll shine.
Do you have a date yet or anything in the pipeline?
Yeah, yo, unfortunately, I can't say. I've done a lot of hard work out here. And maybe that's just team related. You know, my phone don't ring like it needs to. And that's unfortunate. I'm sorry for those that are out there expecting me to be out here performing. But in time, you know, what's for me will be for me. And, you know, people, oh, well, you know, everybody feels like everything's rushed, man. But time is going to pass regardless. So as long as I don't let up and I'm ready. I'll be ready.
Obviously, whilst I've got you then, Jeremiah, some big fights on the horizon. I want to get your thoughts on this weekend on the undercard of Joshua Ngannou. You see the man you've just spent a bit of time talking to there, Zhang versus Joseph Parker. What are your thoughts on that fight, Joseph Parker and Zhang?
Uh, Zhang, he's tough, man. You know, Joseph Parker, he proved what he could do. He's been busy. He stayed busy. And this is his thing. Both of these guys, I just seen them both. They look like they're in phenomenal shape. You know, Parker is going to have his work cut out for him. But I think this will be a real gauge to who Zhang is to the division, you know, because as you see, Parker is not the guy to be slept on. Yeah, he might have went to war with Joe Joyce and lost that fight, but to come back and do Wilder the way he did him, arguably nobody's done Wilder like that, despite what happened on paper, the time out of the ring, whatever. But you know, this is a good litmus test for both of these guys to see like what's really the truth out there. You know, he just stole headlines right now by robbing Joe Joyce, you know, of everything that man worked hard for, and that's the game, you know.
And then, of course, we have the delayed, undisputed bout between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, pushed back to May 18th. Your thoughts on that cut, Jeremiah, and how much of a role could that play during the fight? If you're Usyk, is that something you look to target, try and get it to open back up, make Tyson feel uncomfortable?
Oh, 100%. I'm busting him straight in the eye, busting both eyes. But, you know, that's just how I think. I mean, Usyk has his own game plans. Yeah, I think, you know, these guys need to make this happen. Hopefully everything goes without hiccups because it opens up the division. This is also holding me up. You know what I'm saying? It's holding everybody up that this fight hasn't happened. And that's just the way the dice rolled. But I think that psychologically Fury is going to be unbothered. You know, he showed great resilience in every one of his fights. So no matter what the media and people want to say, hey, things happen. The cut was a mistake. You know, as you've seen from the video, he had all the proper protection, and something just happened. It is a tough and close fight. Usyk is not to be, you know, taken lightly by any stretch of the imagination. Being a smaller guy doesn't really matter. You know, when you know how to skin a cat, you know how to skin a cat.
Jeremiah, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you this week. I'm sure I'll see you around as the week progresses as well. Thank you for speaking to me, and I hope to hear some news on your career very soon.
Andy, appreciate you guys, man.